Hello, Ray Phoenix here. Welcome to Strikers 1945, the original arcade game from 1995. So in this first installment of this trilogy of arcade games, we're going back in time to good old 1945. World War II has just recently ended, and now something even worse than World War II has happened. All of these evil terrorists that come from an unknown place have taken over our world. They want to strip us and rid us of our freedom, and more importantly, they want to rule over us and want us to be their slaves, their mindless slaves, and they be the puppet masters. And they have all sorts of unrealistic technology. They have tanks, they have like flying planes that shoot lasers, plasma shots, and all kinds of stuff that can destroy anyone instantly. But the good thing is, what they didn't take into account is that these strikers, these heroes are playing as they call the strikers, have a lot of firepower that they can very well use against these evil terrorists. So these terrorists aren't going to stand a chance against us, because we have, these unrealistic futuristic planes. Look like something straight out of a Star Wars film or something like that. They made a real prequel of Star Wars. They very well could have used these sorts of airplanes that shoot out lasers and destroy terrorists somewhere far away. This is a real Star Wars prequel in a lot of senses. So we have like nukes. If you use nukes, we can charge shots and things like that, and use charge shots on them. And I have plenty of credits as well too. I've been going around the street a lot lately. I've been finding a lot of quarters out in the street. I have like hundreds of dollars of quarters on me after so many years. So I have enough money to get for this game. Just keep pumping in quarters, as many as this game would allow me to play, so we can get through this whole game. Because I can do that, because I'm rich in quarters, that is, just from walking around the streets. Just remember that, folks. If you ever need some more quarters, need some loose change or something, just roam around the streets, and who knows, you might find a surprise every now and then. I found a lot of surprises. I actually found an arcade machine of Strikers 1945 too at a local arcade once. I liked playing at that arcade, but it's a shame it's gone now. I really think it's bad that retro arcades are closing down. And I really think they, should do something about it. I think cities and towns should have more arcades. There's something that I can't really explain with words about playing a game at an arcade. It gives you some sort of ethereal, metaphysical feeling that's like really like over the top. It can't be described in words. You just can't really emulate that. It's just, when you play a game at home, it's just not the same as playing it in the arcade. That's why I like playing games in the arcade. I think it is a really fun experience to play games at an arcade. I love arcades for that reason. And I'm not saying that playing games at home is bad. It's just, it's just not the same as playing out of the arcade. It's just all that magic is gone. Some people say the same thing about movie theaters, which is why somehow movie theaters managed to remain profitable after all these years, and somehow retro arcades haven't remained popular after all these years, which really, it's kind of like it's like some sort of thing, like you'd think it would be the other way around, but oh no, it's not. I really like playing at those arcades, as I just said. And they actually made a port of this game for the Android phone. You can actually download for free for the Google Play Store. They actually have the whole trilogy. For some reason, when I play on my new Samsung Galaxy A53 phone, for some reason the first and third games are perfectly fine. The second one, the controller seems to break in the second one for some reason, which I don't really know why it is. But I have been playing this game on my phone a lot lately. It's actually kind of fun to play on a phone. They added achievements, they added unlockables, and you have unlimited continues that you can buy, and you have continues you can buy with things you earn in the game, stuff like that. It actually gives you an incentive to want to keep playing the game. It's not a game that's just simply over when it's over, like in the arcade version. It actually does, add a lot of depth to the game. Gives you a lot of reason to want to keep playing the game over and over again. It's like Wipeout 3 Special Edition, where they add trophies and different modes of gameplay and make you want to keep playing the game again and again, which actually, that's kind of what put Strikers 1945 games on the Android phone exactly do. Of course, that's by no means a good way to play the game. If you can play the real arcade version of Strikers 1945, which is what I'm doing right now, I recommend you just play the real arcade version. Why don't you play this on an emulator in RetroArch? It's the MAME 2003 Plus emulator, I believe, is what I'm using to play this. It works just fine in RetroArch on my PC and Raspberry Pi, because my Raspberry Pi kind of is like an arcade in my bedroom, or it's the closest thing I'll get to having an arcade in my bedroom. But it works my PC as well too, my HP laptop, which can easily be, taken anywhere. In the 90s, a laptop computer was considered to be a mobile device. You could take it anywhere, you could carry it anywhere, you could take it anywhere, and you could use it pretty much wherever. And I kind of do that now with my laptop. I take it to the park a lot. I play video games of it in the park a lot of the time. Heck, one person didn't even believe me when I told them I managed to play GameCube games on an HP laptop in the park. So I took a picture showing me doing just that. I actually put it on my Discord server. I stream most Friday nights on my Discord server. I'm probably not going to be doing it in a week from now because I'll be gone somewhere. But for other than that, and for most of the time, yeah, I will be streaming in my Discord server pretty much, most Friday nights. So you can watch me. It's just like watching these videos, but it's live. It's a live performance where anything could happen. The world could be destroyed. My house could explode. I could get killed right in your face, and you'd witness it. Well, you don't see it, but you would hear it live. Because it's on Discord. It's a live performance. Anything could happen in a live performance. My videos aren't live, so you kind of know what's going to happen in my videos, but a live show, a live performance, you don't really know anything. It's like a wild card, pretty much. You never know what you might find, or like a box of chocolates, as Forrest Gump once described his life was like a box of chocolates. So as you see now, because we're seeing more of these terrorists start to pull up. These terrorists have, robots, transforming robots, pretty much. They're going to have frickin' Transformers on their side. I'm starting to think these terrorists might not even be human. They're probably aliens or something like that came to our Earth, which explains why they have such high-tech technology they're using against us, and yet somehow we ended up with high-tech technology too, and they must build their technology out of bars of gold, which is why I pick up the bars of gold and it gives you score. That really adds a lot to your score to pick up those bars of gold, which is really good for us because bars of gold are worth a lot of money. Even today's world are worth a lot of money. It would have been worth a lot more back in 1945. Oddly enough, I know I keep saying this is a better way to play a game, but oddly enough, when I play this on a phone, you actually have to use your finger. You put your finger or thumb on the phone, you can move, you can navigate your plane around using on the phone. It's actually easier to dodge a lot of bullets sometimes when you play it on your phone. So it's actually a benefit there is to play this phone. But other than that, that's the only real benefit there is. If you're going to play this game seriously, just play it on what I'm doing right now, playing the actual arcade version. And of course, there's a lot of mini bosses around too. They still use some things that are traditional from 1945, like those enemy assault airplanes that look like they came right out of World War II. It makes sense to use stuff that came right out of World War II, since it's like it's 1945, and World War II just recently ended. It just ended not too long ago. So people are probably still traumatized. Imagine that, going through one traumatizing war, only for the war to end, and only for you to be brought into another war that involves frickin' Transformers and mecha machines and all sorts of weirdo crap it's only supposed to exist in science fiction. Man, I really feel bad for the people who live in this version of Earth. They're having to go through one war after another, after another, after another. And this game had sequels too, so there's even more stuff that would happen afterwards. Yeah, so I actually do feel kind of bad for those people. One war after another, after another. It must suck to live in this universe. Where there's always conflict. Sure, I said in my LP I did a second game, which was on the PS1, which was over a year ago. I did mention that conflict is something that's always going to exist, regardless of how things go. Conflict always exists. There's always going to be conflict in our world. Why do you think there's so many Star Wars movies? Why do they keep making Star Wars movies until the end of time? It's always something that's going to happen. There's always something in the world happening, right? Why there's always more content being made. Our world is just hungry for content all the time. I think there should be a fourth Strikers 1945. And again, I don't really know what happened to the company that made this game. It wasn't made. I thought it was made by Capcom. I used to think these games had something to do with Capcom's 1940 series, but really they don't. So actually maybe some developing company called Psycho, which I don't know if this company still exists not or anything like that anymore. I don't know. This is all I know of that they made. Okay, they also made another game called Gunbird, I think, or that was its Japanese name, I think was Gunbird. I forget what it was called in America or something like that, but I actually did have a PS1. I still have that somewhere. I might play for that game eventually. Or better yet, maybe I'll find an arcade ROM of it somewhere. The arcade version probably is the better version, and it takes up a lot less space too, because PS1 ISO seem to take up a lot of space on a hard drive, but my PS3 probably has enough space to store a lot of them. Because I say PS3 because just the other day, I managed to jailbreak my PS3 finally using this thing called Hen, and now I managed to install RetroArch on it, but to my disappointment, it doesn't play PS1 games or N64 games. On the PS3, it doesn't even play Neo Geo stuff. It's like extremely limited as to what kinds of stuff it plays. It only seems to play some stuff from arcade, most of the stuff from NES, SNES, Sega Master System, and Sega Genesis. But it does play those pretty good. I'm glad it plays that stuff good. It's good to get the classics. I managed to use Multiman to save the ROMs onto my PS3's hard drive. So that's good. I don't have to keep bothering the memory sticks. The PS3 is good for playing stuff like that, but it's never going to give my Raspberry Pi a run for its money. Raspberry Pi is the best emulation machine I have for stuff like that, and it plays more than that too, so it's, really good for Raspberry Pi. Another win for my Raspberry Pi. This time it won over a PS3. What's better, a Raspberry Pi or a PS3? I don't know. But I've been looking up ways to hack it further. I have a slim PS3 that I got new in 2012, but I still haven't really been using it much lately, but now that I've been doing stuff like this, I just pumped a lot of new life back into it. And better yet, if I could hack it even more, I might even be able to get it to play PS2 games and play them from the actual hard drive itself. Oh boy, that would be fun and awesome. I'd love to play Ape Escape 3 on my PS3, my slim PS3, something I didn't think would ever be possible. But I guess it's now going to be possible now that I hacked my PS3. But I don't think Sony's going to disown me or that. Does Sony still care about PS3? I don't know. I only ever had one PS3. If I actually had a choice, I would have chose the fat PS3, because the fat PS3 could actually play PS2 games as well as PS1 games, so I would have chosen one of those if I could, have a PS3, but no, I didn't get a choice. My father just bought it for me new back in 2012, and back then, when you buy a new PS3, you didn't really have much of a choice. You get the slim PS3 model. At least it's not the super slim PS3. That one's like, what was the point of the super slim PS3? I don't know, but I do know the slim PS3. It kind of makes sense. I mean, it did make some improvements over the original model of the PS3. I never had any serious, I did have a few serious failures in the slim PS3, but it may not have been as bad as I got a fat PS3. I don't know. No, I never had a fat PS3, of course. I don't really know. Heck, I don't even play very many PS3 games. I don't have a lot of PS3 games. I don't even play very many PS3 games at all. Most of the games I play on it is just PS1 games, and now I'm playing emulator stuff on it now, too. I used it as a Blu-ray player, but now I have a real Blu-ray player, so there's no point of that. So somehow we ended up on the moon right now. Apparently our airplane is capable of flying to the moon in 1945, where we have lasers and battle guns and all sorts of crazed stuff, all sorts of bizarre, weird stuff that could easily be used to destroy, all sorts of stuff on the moon. These are laser blasters and blasters. This is what I was trying to think they're aliens now. Because aliens, how else did they get to the moon? And look at that, it's an anime cliche. It's some female-looking robot thing that's lifting up its dress and shooting stuff at it. Yep, that's so cliche, just like an anime. So cliche. And then again, this game does have anime influence in it, of course, because, the way, Japanese games often put anime-related stuff into them. Like Jumping Flash did that, Bust a Move 4 did a lot of stuff like that. Even Ape Escape did stuff like that too, had some anime influence, especially Ape Escape 3. There's a lot of anime influence in Ape Escape 3. So, yeah, it's Japanese culture. It's a unique culture. Of course, they're going to want to put their culture into their own games, right? A lot of people put their own personal culture into their own games. It's only fair. Makes perfect sense why they would do something like that. I would do stuff like that too. If I was a game maker, I put my personal cultural stuff into games that I make, which I've considered doing that before. I have a Raspberry Pi, which can be used to develop software with. I have considered using it to make, games. It's going to make a Pac-Man clone featuring Bouncy the Ball. It's also going to make some other games involving my intellectual properties like Jason and Mason, Odyssey of Oddities, and Ivan's War. It's going to make some games like that, which I think that will turn out well. I'm sure people love to play. There's a lot of people probably all my fans would love to play my games, I'm sure of. So now we're progressing more onto the moon, more onto the surface of the moon, where now we see like the surface of the Death Star. It's all high-tech and science fiction, and this is 1945, far into the past, yet it seems like it's so far into the future. Is this really our 1945? Did World War II really just end so we could be brought into this chaotic disaster of a mess? Well, we're gonna defeat this villain, and whoever's behind this, we're gonna bring freedom and liberty back to our people. Because, that's what we always do. We should always fight to, so we can stay in liberty and freedom and perfect harmony. So that way we won't have to worry about, these bad guys that want to, take us over and rule the world and stuff like that. And of course, they always seem to have an infinite number of these robot crab things and all sorts of weird robot stuff you can find in science fiction or somewhere else. But we always destroy it easy just by simply, spamming our weapon on. It's really easy to do rapid fire in this game. Sure, you have to constantly tap the fire button, but it's not that bad. Probably actually worse if you did it in an actual arcade. You might get carpal tunnel if you do so that. But then again, arcade buttons are made to be just arcade buttons, have that quality to them, and the joystick has that quality to them I said earlier. It really makes it, like a really unique experience playing a game. I really wish I wouldn't mind owning an arcade machine. If I could see myself owning arcade cabinets sometime far into the future, I'd love to own an arcade cabinet of this game. That would be really, fun, I think, really good. The arcade, that's where people had to play games a long time ago, and now they're gone thanks to newer technology. People are saying that about World of Warcraft, and about why World of Warcraft is dominating the world, but yet World of Warcraft is not an arcade game, and never was an arcade game. It's very different from an arcade game. Actually, probably kind of insulting when people compare those, because some games are never meant to be arcade games, like Doom, like in Grosse Point Blank, when that guy was playing Doom on an arcade machine. I know Doom can be played on everything, but Doom is not an arcade. They always do that to insult people, almost like, he's playing something that doesn't exist. So here's the final boss now. We're in the middle of imagine this is deep space now. Playing against some evil crab thing, some one-eyed crab thing in deep space. And all of gets destroyed its outside now. It's forming into some weird, maybe that's the main villain in this game. It's not even, it's a terrorist, but it's some weird, like, space being. What do you call those things? Like a space entity, something like that. A space entity that serves as a terrorist. And that's what's causing all of our problems on the Earth. And we've destroyed it now, too. So it's going to go through our results now and things that we've done so far. Spoiler alert, this game's going to make us play through it again, which I'll be doing on the next part. I'm going to be playing for this game again, but in insanely hard mode. It's going to be way harder the second time around. Just like an 80s arcade game, where once you get to the end, it loops back to the beginning. Only this game only loops twice. And the second time it loops, it's way harder. It's an extreme challenge. We'll be taking on that challenge next time. This is Ray Phoenix signing out.